the film, you may get a hint as to a
The Hawkeye thing, because what he's saying here kind of makes it sound like they're really concluding it, but I'm like, nah, they're
to me.
So she's stubborn.
As was to be expected, the Russos have remained coy when asked about all the and described the scene.
Flo was talking about how they wanted from Thor Ragnarok to Avengers. You're 40 years old,
Yeah,
aren't you?
Right? You look at
Yeah.
just realistically, the actors you gotta release
Them they're wrong. Marvel Cinematic Multiverse.
This video was made, you know, with him like practically threatening to try to.
Avengers 4 is there's a very personal arc there for us.
no let
There's some stuff to come. What I do know, all the reasons Avengers 4 will happen. And what's the point of going to the film? That's a good point. And one which means that fans looking to how to reverse their greatest defeat by revisiting cyborg assassin Winter Soldier.
Even if it's manipulative, it might be good.
Right.
In the whole like taking
He is to be believed. Thanos isn't the most powerful
set up for that, for them to go back to the beginning. I feel like I got it. That's
territory.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Seasoned fans of the MCU know that the studio has never with the Time Stone currently residing in Thanos' Infinity Gauntlet. It's
Sometimes things can be a little manipulative. Maybe
good times.
you're a 90s kid, right?
Yeah, are
Were
you?
you born in 1974?
in our world has gotten quite crowded, and it's just about to slip to E! News that the cast of Infinity War was only getting a short break between films. Avengers 4 will completely wrap up the decade-plus story that
There's for to be a whole arc for the Hulk. Right. So I could see what the envision. I'm like, yeah, you might be able to build him back. Gamora.
I have to stop. I don't care.
You're also like
Not break his
debut with
contract.
2014's Captain America: The Winter Soldier. In particular, it appears that the remaining Avengers may be looking for clues as to
End on a good.
whatever.
returning cast. In case you doubt that the Russos would use the response to the question of how all those characters might return has prompted some intense speculation. Joe Russo has hinted that this might be the case, saying, "Certainly, there is a 5-minute
Over here.
Yeah. 20%. Those were the ones who were left standing. Plus, you know, Rocket, Raccoon. Can't wait for that day. I don't believe in de-aging technology.
mastermind Kevin Feige
Include, especially because
to explode into
that are happening too. I think they might do it.
like actually end some
I
of
think
these.
they might. Well, they.
You can subscribe to the Reject Nation. Click that notification bell, and the acronym is for
Binarily augmented retro framing.
the chest on this one, close to the vest. What's the
Or do you
quote?
think that they're telling them to tease it so
that the comics don't.
I actually do specifically. You were the one who seemed to have the most finite death.
right?
You know, like,
Cinematic universe is this ever
you know how it works. Links everywhere around this video, and check us out on Patreon. Full-length TV show
events of the stories are going to happen. Man leading the charge in Avengers 4 would be in perfect keeping with Marvel's habit of giving.
We're just here to try to make you smile today, specifically just you.
Yeah, they're gonna move on. I think they want Panther from California.
Yeah, Black Panther could be this option.
Even more than
Some insights on this stuff.
Oh man, here we go.
Here we go. Let's talk about some of these. Captain Marvel.
device employed in the MCU's future.
No way.
Animal Wasp, as Barnes had narrowly escaped what seemed like certain doom in Captain America: The First Avenger, loose adaptation of the Infinity Gauntlet limited, giving rich, emotional story arcs to characters that may have once been
And I am trying.
Renner himself has teased the avenging Archer's triumphant return in Avengers 4, but and instead been molded by Hydra into the brainwashed.
You're grabbing my hentai from me.
Guys, you can
It's completely under wraps, and some leaked set photos may provide interesting plot details.
Oh yeah, they're all dead permanently. Why are they showing a clip of them? Oh, they're a big one. I'm like, okay, bringing back Drax. He was from the Snap. All right.
Recreated scene from the famous battle with the original. You could see the same device.
I thought what was happening was a time travel sequence. It seemed like it was just everyone from the Snap who's talking about a sequel. I don't really care about.
Right.
But Gamora specifically.
Stars are any indication. This is a standing couture of superheroes.
That's why I never read
Time
source
after time.
material.
As large scale as
Your age, you're an actress. Members don't seem to be all that smart. I was surprised that Zoe Saldana. That's all still be doing that.
small but mighty. The fact that
Sorry.
I'm like, where are they going with that exactly? Does that mean all the characters are not going to have
place. Absence, and said in an interview leading up to Infinity War's release
Yeah, you know Loki's died.
Saga connected to numerous interwoven films, and all signs point to them pulling it off in
We all know that like majority of you are coming back. Channel guys.
sequence in Civil War. Black Panther
Where'd it
title.
go?
I can only afford to lose one friend today.
You up, but I wanted to tell you, man, every one of us knows what it's like to have a the Avengers and leading the charge, but where has she been this whole time? Which is what the Captain Marvel hiring.
Oh, right.
But he was even saying here, it's all
Epic. Nation accomplished with Tony Stark's BARF technology from some comments made by the MCU's
I made a comment earlier about
just the deaths depicted in Infinity War may be permanent, but if set photos
and try to figure it out. Right?
No, I'm proud of my age. Getting older is a reward. Like, you know what I mean?
Lead them to figuring out time travel.
Rocket Raccoon.
The raccoon.
The rabbit.
Rabbit. I guess if it happened, I wouldn't be all psychology. I believe in just de-aging yourself. Feige says you don't necessarily sometimes. I read the whole.
That we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I mean that could be the other thing too. I mean Dave Bautista are playing it close to the
movies, you don't necessarily get that, but which shares only a few basic plot points with its namesake.
Keep looking young. How about I just look old?
Avengers 4, honestly. Okay. Guys, you can. That's yours, right?
Yeah, thanks for
I have no interest as a director in
Retro framing, or BARF. God, I gotta work on that acronym.
Of course,
rough week. Casey and I might be all smiles, but on the inside of the Avengers.
war around a piece of technology that was laid in for a very specific milestone at a cute.
I'm a 90s boy.
92.
You're 90. Segue. Check out Casey's channel. Blog. We're gonna be continuing them though.
Well,
it's not just an end point.
Yeah, I mean, there's TV shows and stuff. Just gotta stop this.
Office numbers in film history.
Yeah, sure it can please the fans. It seems like the Russos have something special. A couple of changes with Disney since.
She will be.
Sorry, yes, and no.
Infinity War's post-credits sequence. Likewise, Zoe Saldana let travel. One way or another, it seems all but certain that the tiniest Avenger will play a crucial multiverse.
Ooh, that's how you. I'm excited to check this video. We're talking about there, but the way people have been talking about to go into the memory fix it. Yeah, I'm like after the whole feminist. Avengers 4. All right. The Russo brothers' biggest heart seems to be with starting from winter. Watch today from a looper. That's why I was bringing it up. Why Avengers 4 will blow you up.
It's all in your...
Well, Thor just got rebooted and everyone... Black Panther. I'm doing it, guys.
Perfect.
I'm going to be Black Panther. But this one, I would be more curious to see if they try to solve...
Avengers 4 will give us something that the MCU hasn't had to...
No, wait, no. You should ask a YouTube...
There's a lot of very inventive ways of where the story can go from here. Sacrifice. Leaving him as the only Guardian standing at the conclusion of started unfolding with 2008's Iron Man. Feige told Uprock
for values to Captain America. I'd be pretty excited to see her be the next head powering stuff. Sometimes that can feel like it's shoved in your face, but I think Captain Marvel
was introduced as a petty criminal hiding a heart
something by using this technology, because this technology is
actually the stone itself. We may not know yet exactly what was going on with what they
Marvel movie will explain.
Because it's set in the 90s.
Powers are off the charts. And when she's introduced,
your reaction videos are going to be hard.
To Marvel Comics for clues to the conflict's outcome, probably aren't going to find on a painful character arc. Struggling to break free of his programming
on all the time.
Right.
They should be open to recasting. It's like they've recasted supporting players before.
Right.
Take place in just one universe, but dozens or even hundreds of them.
Loves the reboot of Thor. Where does this really go? I did hear some stuff about how Mark Ruffalo...
Yeah, which is what these next two Avengers films are. Uncharted, considering how maligned the character has been by fans. The city's 4 can never keep it secret.
What they introduced in Civil War with the BARF technology role as they're setting it up to be.
Like, you don't think that they're going to try to do...
Fat lie.
You get hurt, hurt him back. You get killed.
You know?
Fans never pleased.
Never.
Man, whoever did this video did a very good job.
Captain Marvel, which I think is...
There are any comics that correlate to it. I think we're in pretty fresh territory with Avengers 4. According to directors Joe and Anthony Russo, it will be a totally original have worked in the first
cast.
In the sum of her abilities, saying she's in some ways the close
either. So now I have... As before I was just...
Action videos, you look the same, but you can't move.
Yeah.
Who the hell is Bucky?
Through the rest of his MCU appearances beyond Avengers 4, A development Doctor Strange
Marvel, I don't really know a whole bunch about. I really feel like they're setting her up.
confirming a fan theory regarding the soul.
The older you get,
Walk it off.
Speaking to The Independent, Bucky Barnes actor Sebastian Stan
was the emotional, devastating.
Right.
So on mine for him. So
That's nice.
film sandwiched between Infinity War is a
I've been diagnosed with age.
I-
I'm kidding. The older you,
but if you like Infinity War, there's
yeah, because it's barely talked about in so dies, but
one of two telling a story that's already been told or in seeing one that's already been told.
to be the next head.
Or barf.
The Russo brothers.
Jeremy Renner. We cooked up a story for him that is a little bit of a long play, not a short play.
Perhaps like,
Way to
shut
go.
up, shut up. I'm just messing with you, Casey.
I'm trying to be positive about what's happening.
By far the strongest character we've ever had. Screenwriter Christopher
Thinking, oh, they're definitely going to time travel, and they're going
Time
to figure it
travel
out.
and
And
fix
fake
it.
photos where they have that they're obviously revisiting the Battle of New York from the first Avengers movie.
getting their first victory, the Battle of New York.
You know, advantage.
Our history, I don't know how they're,
His ability to navigate the quantum realm might also help provide the science a sprawling
Tell me I have to spend gazillions of dollars.
likely that this will be achieved through purely scientific means. Or maybe it's all a recreate and regain his identity. In a recent interview with London radio station Civil War,
Binarily augmented.
we've seen happen within the Marvel Cinema shocking results of Thanos' Infinity Stone powered finger snap.
No, he didn't.
That was very well researched. That took
That
a
was
lot
great.
of time.
Much like Ant-Man, Rocket
And I'm wondering how much of that is to be taken as literal.
Perfect.
I'm going to talk just like me, too. I ain't doing that whole accent.
Something kind of existential.
wiped out by the Mad Titan trapped inside the stone in comic book fashion.
I think
That makes who's right and knows they're right and doesn't really want to hear it when you tell.
Morality. And it was like a big.
As a smart move. It seems like it could be a natural move, too. It's like sometimes California, sarcastic. He's basically saying
His tactics to keep us guessing. Remember,
a really cool thing, especially because she seems stronger than Cap, but she also has a similar. Hawkeye tends to get a lot of crap when he's not around. Everyone's like, what?
key role in Thanos' eventual defeat. The set photos,
Mocking the epicness.
Rocket's liftoff.
That's fun.
And no further than Rocket.
You gotta be kidding me.
You're a big Marvel fan. I know that me.
This may be misdirection on Russo's part, but one way or another,
Infinity Gauntlet comic book, I'll have you know.
Hey.
Hey, yo.
Real nerd.
Side, we are
Dead.
depressed human beings, empty soul. Question. What's a good YouTube question?
What do you mean a YouTube question?
You know, like, what?
is it's going to be awesome.
He knows how to.
So the story that began in Winter Soldier and that ends in Avengers.
Please check out Casey Spivey on her YouTube channel.
Years in May 2019, the fourth Avengers movie will be tasked with tying up
But you're like, meanwhile, like getting Botox.
Yeah, you have no idea how hard lead would be a big deal. I mean, they recasted Edward Norton to Mark Ruffalo, but
Right,
Edward.
I mean, so you should be proud to age. Maybe one day I'll be. What about this one? No.
No, we're gonna
Do it.
Bucky's
He knows how
journey.
to not
Russo
spoil.
brothers need their cases, especially when he screws with the regulator on his.
I don't read source material. Soldier when they got brought on board, and
Right.
they have a very big personal spot for Cap.
I think,
For her to just talk candidly about, yeah, I'm working on Avengers 4 and then Guardians
Right.
3. I'm like,
We're all
you guys
back.
are greenlit already. You know, the little films continue, like the one.
Bone arrow.
People
None
didn't
of
seem
this
to
makes
care
sense.
until he
Joe
wasn't
Russo
there.
suit.
I'm gonna have to shrink between the molecules to get in there.
Cinematic multiverse.
The multiverse.
Can you imagine Q&As and music video coverage? Would love to have you become a Patronaject
Ooh.
today.
Will blow you away. A cosmic culmination.
Do anything to really cheer.
yeah, maybe you could be the Captain Marvel one. The
Yeah.
person from killing everybody. It was like a really, you had to contemplate, like,
Yeah.
nice catch.
Thanks. I played b-ball.
Neither of which appeared in Infinity War. And Nick
Really?
Fury, who turned to dust and back on target. The amount of flack the Russo brothers caught for which we learned that Cap's best friend Bucky
Tails, but I don't think it means like they're filming.
Fine. We're fighting an army of robots.
Yeah.
formidable opponent the Avengers have faced.
Right.
However, if Kevin Feige
What's the point with having him here? He
here?
doesn't do anything. It makes sense for them to just be using the technology
she'll role in our hero's ultimate victory, and it's
or
found
leave Guardians with the whole James Gunn. I'm working on this.
20 years from now, like, your face isn't going to be able to move. You're
Oh,
like,
God.
it's like wisdom and wise. You know what I mean?
You get hotter on the inside.
Perspective. I'm not trying to fall under the fist of the beauty industry.
In terms of like how they recast Bond.
Like, I think that they could
Known as the Marvel Multiverse, Russo's comment may hint at the fact that including Hawkeye from Infinity War was somewhat surprising.
the same way, or if it'll be like, no,
Complete the journey they began all the way back in the second Captain America movie. Star Benedict Cumberbatch seems to think is a real possibility. He told Cinema Blend, what we for Marcus, who has co-written all of the Russo's MCU entries, teased that the captain is
Ruined that whole death, did he?
right.
Bucky is pretty shaken by the film's ending.
I mean, everyone's kind of expecting Cap to die, especially because Chris Evans is like, yeah, I'm definitely leaving after Avengers 4. Them.
I like that the last movie was about some
Avengers 4. Feige left no room
know
for doubt
almost
in an
nothing
interview
about
with Vulture, saying, her power. Characters like Spider-Man or Batman or James Bond or Iron
Jordan's film wasn't that big.
I think they could definitely.
our heroes will have to look to the past to save the future from fans. Speaking to the Huffington Post, Anthony Russo said, people become accustomed to pivotal arc around a fan favorite character who never
Saying that is not going to be old. Dave Bautista has gone through a
remains. Are those
well,
to Captain America, a person who kind of an endpoint, and we wanted to do
ones that were introduced from
direction, or we may be about to witness the birth of the Marvel Cinematic Face until now, a conclusion. According to Marvel Studios' master,
to recast the
even in the context of the blockbuster,
surprised. They might conclude their specific in the next two Avengers films. There will be like kind of an actual solid conclusion. It's been having a rather rough week lately. Dude, I'm sorry to hear that, but I know Hawkeye, you better be something amazing in a
scientific basis for the Avengers to achieve true time
stuff. That's an exciting idea to me. I'm not sitting here now convinced that all they're going to do is time travel. Like, Dad, I'm still trying to make this platform work. Yeah.
It's non-reactive.
See where Ant-Man comes in. We all know that Ant-Man's ability can get him into some very tiny space.
It's like, what does that
Infinity
mean?
4.5.
Yeah, and turn of the day shout out to a man named Derek Mitchell. Derek has
Bigger issue.
Yeah.
And I wonder if they'll wrap it up in the
Almost certainly a big
willy-nilly.
It's like Loki. They're going to be setting up for other ones. We know Spider-Man 2 is coming out, but he was
Right.
one of the people who faced.
got to bite their tongue.
Have to all come back at some point.
Mad Titan actually succeed in wiping out half of all life in the universe. But
And I was like, I'm going to be in 4. I'm also going to be in
The actors, you
After
know,
a
like
while, yeah.
they
Titan matchup.
Okay.
The opening moments of Avengers Infinity
do it. And I think that now's your chance to be up for whatever character you want to be.
For this movie, I mean, these cast
He is around. Everyone's like,
were set up for Avengers 4 9 days.
remember that they've gone out of their way to suggest
Trying to just be optimistic and find the silver lining.
tell them how you look at it.
Too?
Yeah.
Shouldn't review.
that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. It was Dave Bautista who poked the biggest hole in the Russo in lessons about trust, friendship, and
68.
series. But for
Yes.
Avengers 4, Marvel isn't dipping into its back catalog.
With all the upset of where's Hawk, we know that.
Right.
At the same time, I'm like, but don't say it.
Right.
You know, don't tell.
But at least one resource. That would be Captain Marvel, who's been set on a collision course with the Mad Titan in a
This video gets one view, and it's from anyone.
You.
I hope it's you. Whole new approach. I mean, the original Avengers.
original story. Joe Russo explained, I don't think seemed to bear this out, along with Joe's threat during an interview with Collider, called a spiritual representation of Gamora. But the question, Iron Man, who have been around for so long and are always refreshed in comic books or novels or movies,
is the
understanding their entire approach to the MCU. They explained that Avengers 4 would complete
annoying.
Right.
War, made it clear that Thanos is by far the most
Anna would actually say it's like
Infinity War and Avengers 4
Right.
had fans speculating early on that Scott Lang could play a
films are necessarily ending their solo outings. I feel like
Infinity War was certainly not a random choice. And it would be just like Marvel to write a Marvel Cinematic Universe. Avengers Infinity War has posted some of the most eye-popping box
And there
I
we
feel
go.
like it'll get bigger. I mean, it's kind of crazy how much is leaking on Humphrey. Great job, buddy.
Did he?
Greg! Sorry. I feel like Captain America, they're probably going to...
example of this is Captain America Civil War, which took its title from a famous story arc.
Showed up to watch him shoot bows and arrows at freaking Thanos.
Russo's comments, if I know all
There's some funny sketches on there, I'm telling you. It's worth it. One day I'll be in one of those sketches.
Other dimensions. Of course, this may all be more misdirected.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's about something a little bit more than just like a physical, like.
Alongside the Avengers at the Battle of New York, the world in which Thanos visits a young Gamora was actually did not forget
Casey.
Casey Spivey is here. Casey just informed me that already confirmed he's going to be in Guardians 3, Avengers 4, but Zoe Saldana specifically. Reactions, Weckler, I'd appreciate that a lot more.
Ah, that was a good catch by these guys.
Yeah, I mean.
Style. From the stuff we've already seen to clues regarding what's to featuring Lang A, Russo implied and later debunked that the Soul Stone color.
Like, we already got Spider-Man 2 set photos. They're working on a bunch of stuff that's been. At least let it settle and let's be a surprise when you're back, you know? I find it funny with the whole. Hi, Reject Nation. I'm Greg Alba. What is your name?
Directly adapted a story from the comics, but rather used Marvel's decades.
Theories for Avengers 4. Hey, there you go. Hey guys, what are your theories for? Yeah, I mean, he talked about that at one point. YouTube is dead. I hope it's you. But God, am I hoping more people watch?
Clearly, Marvel fans around the
They can know.
Yeah, but once you hit 30, you're like 6.
Raising the stakes of the conflict with Thanos by having the
Phase 1, like Captain America.
And I think now we're at the stage where this universe, even within Spin 1038, the Russos revealed that understanding Bucky's arc is the key to
have their solo
character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Didn't have any juicy spoilers to offer up. He said, everybody's Infinity War took the saga of the Avengers to new heights, dramatically worked via some kind of time travel. Set photos have shown
There's a lot of mention might come back, so whatever. And some other characters
seen as mere comic relief. For a perfect example, look time moving linearly in the MCU.
For them to quote saying that there's a 5-minute sequence in there, that could be like, get the hotter you get, people. Embrace it.
I think so.
You'll just look. Oh, look out of nowhere when YouTube get that kind of an endpoint when he's talking about like all these other kind of films.
How about I just do that?
Yeah, radio's always a good option, kid.
Real authentic
nerd. I do think that would be a really, or is Iron Man gonna not have his solo films anymore? But then I'm thinking about, well, from what I do know about her, and I know
world, we're anxious to see how the studio would start to wrap up the long saga of the Avengers.
The fourth installment of Avengers.
Set photos. Of course, Marvel fans know
that in an upcoming sketch that she's going to be doing, she will be playing
different storylines for inspiration. The most obvious
video out. Looper's a great channel, people. Hey, real quick, I want to give a Patreon end on a good line. On jokes, it's a sketch comedy. Screw that.
Black.
What are your? This video's a couple weeks.
Avengers sporting their Phase 1 attire, and Ant-Man along for the ride. Of Gold, who's forced to learn tough
war. So if that was like a clever.
Because I know that we will
come. Here's a look at.
I've seen the set.
Everyone go move on to other projects and maybe do this multiverse thing that they were talking about. Or for you to talk about coming back. Like, that was well done.
Marvel story and everything to try to figure something out, because I was thinking like there's a quantum realm. Well, that like a hint for what might be happening. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. That actually could.
In which he said, quote, everyone was there, including Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne, Thanos, and the Infinity Stones. Of course. And audiences were left
point this fall and finish up the second.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Totally Tubular Man 66. Today in coming out with a brand new video, we're gonna be reacting to a person who reacted to Dylan the Dead's video. And it was pretty good, man. People wanted me to react to it, so that's what we're gonna do today. Let's get right into the news and the video. Cool.
Tell me you